Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Somebody has a case of the Monday. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Soto. Boom. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. That's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. I, of course, am at Edward Rouse at all your favorite social media platforms as well. Welcome, my fellow ranters, to the dog days of sports summer.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
That's right. We're at the point in the summer solstice, or sports solstice, where there's not a lot going on. But don't worry, we still have a great and fun show for you tonight. We are going to have, and I mean a lot of fun. There's also things going on. NFL training camp has started. A lot about contracts there. An interesting MLB story. We're going to talk a little USA basketball before the Olympics start up. And Heavy T is going to join me for some fun as well. So maybe a shorter show tonight, but we're still going to give you the news as it comes in and try to make fun of it the best that we possibly can here on Monday Night Rants. Oh, man, what a weekend. Anyone have a good weekend? Who saw Twisters? Because apparently everybody saw Twisters. I saw it twice. Literally saw Twisters twice. It was a jam, man. Twisters was a jam. It just reminded me of one of those old blockbuster summer movies from like the late 90s, early 2000s. You know what I mean? That's just fun. There was no like political agenda. There was nothing. It was just a fun, good old-fashioned movie. And man, I could stare at that man all day too. There's that too. But it was a lot of fun. Next week on Monday Night Rants we're going to be knee deep in the Olympics. So we're going to have a really fun show next week. My guest next week will be Elliot Jams from The Drew Show. If you remember him, he joined us before. We talked about how jousting should be in the Olympics. Big Olympic fan is Elliot Jams from The Drew Show on New Rock 104.1. He'll be joining us as well as Heavy T. We're going to be talking Olympics next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to make a little game out of it as well. And also be talking a little MLB trade deadline. A little bit of that tonight, too, because the trade deadline for MLB is next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. And a lot of interesting names on the board. I'm going to ask Heavy T about that, see what he thinks. And, of course, next week we'll be, again, knee-deep in the middle of the MLB trade deadline. We'll have some news, probably some breaking news as things are happening like we did last year on Monday Night Rants. So that will be next Monday. But tonight, welcome to the Dog Days of Sports Summer, baby. Without further ado, let's get into the rant lines. Yes, the rant lines. NFL training camp has kicked off. A couple of quarterbacks there being said that they will, and I quote, change the market. Now, this is a very, very interesting thing we got here between Jordan Love and Tua. Now, Jordan Love obviously sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a very long time until he got his start and was really good last year, number 2 in the NFL in touchdown passes. Led his team to a beatdown of the Cowboys at the playoffs. 1 year under his belt as a full-time starter. Now, was a good year. Was a really good year. Tua has a couple years under his belt, but injuries are a concern. But a lot of talks out there are saying that these two contracts could shape the quarterback market. So there could be a world where this time next year, Tua and Jordan Love are the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, I'm just telling you what I read, what people are saying. That is absolutely insane. Obviously, right now, Love is holding out for a new contract. He hasn't shown up to training camp yet. 1 year looking for a new. It's crazy to me. It's crazy how players can now determine their fates and contracts and how they just keep on leapfrogging each other. What happens is you get this year like this where these are the two best quarterbacks looking for contracts. They leapfrog everybody else. Then they're the top paid. Well, then the actual quarterbacks who are, top 5, top 6, top 7 in the NFL, they need to come on top of that. And just keeps on growing and growing and growing. Obviously, I don't expect Jordan Love to hold out too long. So what kind of contract can we see here between these two? Let's go over the top quarterback contracts currently in the NFL. Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback annually in the NFL. $55 million a year. He's tied with Trevor Lawrence, followed by Jared Goff and Justin Herbert. Now, if you ask me, I say Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than all three of the guys above him. Lamar Jackson, better than the three guys above him. Jalen Hurts, kind of a schemy guy. Good quarterback, but is it the scheme in Philadelphia that makes him as good as he actually is? Then Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins, and then Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Crazy. Probably the two best quarterbacks currently in the NFL. So if we're saying that Jordan Love and Tua Tagovailoa can get more money than Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow, what are we doing here? It's just going to keep on leapfrogging and leapfrogging and leapfrogging, like I said. Currently, Jordan Love is actually getting paid $13.5 million. Then you have all these rookies. CJ Stroud, if he continues at his pace, he may be the highest paid quarterback in the history of all time in 4 years. CJ Stroud. It's possible. Anthony Richardson. We're talking about some of these rookies too. Caleb Williams. It's just weird that we live in a world now where the best players at their position aren't necessarily the best paid. It's not how it used to be. Markets keep on setting markets. Players keep on setting markets based on when their contracts are up and if a team wants to keep them. Now, quarterback is the most important position in the NFL. I get it. But if Tua and Jordan Love is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL when this year starts, it's, to me, that boggles my mind. And it should boggle yours too. Speaking of quarterbacks, the highest paid quarterback, as mentioned, Joe Burrow, has been cleared to full contact. That's right. His wrist injury is behind him. He will take place, obviously, at training camp, and he will be good to go for the season. Great news for the Cincinnati Bengals. Bad news for the rest of the AFC North, the toughest division in football. But though Joe Burrow was cleared, and we just talk about the quarterback market, let's take a look at another market that's shaping up. Now, Ja'Marr Chase, obviously one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he's Justin Jefferson level, CeeDee Lamb level. Now, there's a problem with this, as I just mentioned, is that the salary list of wide receivers now, the market is changing as well. And both CeeDee Lamb and Ja'Marr Chase will be pretty much next season free agents if they don't figure something out. Now, CeeDee Lamb and Ja'Marr Chase, right now, Justin Jefferson, obviously the $35 million a year, is the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL. You got A.J. Brown behind him at 32, and then Amon St. Brown at number 3, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp. Now, here we are talking about the best in their position. Ja'Marr Chase should get Justin Jefferson numbers, if not more, because of inflation and a year later. And CeeDee Lamb, man, is CeeDee Lamb going to take it all depends on what is going to happen with the Cowboys this year. I can see CeeDee Lamb just say, you know what, I'm hitting the free agent market and I'm going somewhere else who will pay me, because right now, looking at what I've seen and the lack of off-season moves for the Cowboys, I'll tell you right now, man, the Cowboys have a debt problem and a money problem, and I don't think after this year they're going to be in good shape unless they do something, anything. Come on, Jerry Jones, do something. I mean, come on, something, anything. I mean, I love the Cowboys. I want to see them do good. It's kind of embarrassing, isn't it? Speaking of not doing well, the Atlanta Braves, moving on to baseball. This is breaking news that turned into breaking news, people. It's kind of sad, actually. Obviously, the Aussie Albies once again getting hurt with another broken bone. It's kind of odd for him, but there we go. But they're chasing the Phillies down. So what do? They take the guy from the Phillies who did not have a good year after making the All-Star game last year, and they got him. Whit Merrifield, who's an older guy. He's had his run with the Royals, and obviously last year with the Blue Jays. Started the year with Philly this year, but it's been kind of in the dumps. Okay, we got a replacement for Whit Merrifield. Yes, we could do this. And by the way, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks are right behind him now in the wild card. So it's no shoo-in for the Atlanta Braves. They have injury issues with Acuna and now Ozzy, and it's their pitching staff. They're in desperation mode right now when it comes to injuries. And pregame, warming up, Whit Merrifield takes a ball to the finger and has a finger injury. So he gone already 1 day after signing him. They did bring up a promising young prospect in his name's Nacho Alvarez Jr., who will start tonight and bat second, by the way. An interesting pickup for your fantasy baseball leagues as well. I know I have him on my minor league team in my dynasty. I don't play a lot of season-long Major League Baseball fantasy, but a lot of dynasty, and I was kind of all over him. So Nacho Alvarez Jr., to see how he does tonight, is the guy you want to target, but the Braves just continue to kind of struggle a little bit recently, and injuries not helping. It'd be weird if the Braves do not make the playoffs. Just would be a strange year in baseball, which is already shaping up to be that. I don't think anyone had the AL Central being the best division right now. Dumb. Dumb. The Olympics are starting next week, and the United States men's basketball team have been rolling. Oh, yes. They have been winning all their games. However, not by a lot. Obviously, injuries. Kawhi Leonard leaving. Durant's having some issues right now. LeBron James seems to be the only one single-handedly doing anything recently. Just today, they barely beat Germany 92-88. And the other day, they were getting roughed up a little bit by South Sudan. Not looking good going to the Olympics with the likes of better teams out there. Now, I've been talking about how basketball has become more of a sport that's global. We've seen Spain get better over the years. Argentina, who upset us and won the gold medal in 2004. Remember that? Obviously, Slovakia is going to be really good. Canada. I'm a little worried about this USA team. A little worried a little worried. And obviously, the rules are different in Olympic play. But yeah, so 19 times in Olympic history, we've had men's basketball. 19. You know how many times the United States men's basketball team has not won a gold medal of those 19? 4. 1972, 1980, 1988, and 2004 against Argentina, like we talked about. Remember that year? They lost 2 games in a round robin and barely made it into the next round. But Yes, we got some stars and some role players on this team. It's just not the same dream team we remember from the 90s. It's just not. They're not as good. And basketball is becoming more global. I would not be surprised if the United States lose some games, hopefully in the round robin, before we get to the main part where if you lose, you're done. And I just something seems off on this. Sudan, Germany. What did Dirk Nowitzki come out of it? Come on. Barely beating Germany. So, a little worried. More on that next week, though, during our Olympic show when we talk about it. But these last two games, not encouraging, as I said. So, good luck, USA. By the way, the women's USA team has been absolutely dominant. And I don't see them losing at all or a game. I think they're guaranteed to win. Why Caitlin Clark isn't on the team, I still have no idea, and I think it's embarrassing. But they should be fine, and they should win. Did you guys see that they have 3-on-3 basketball? 3-on-3 basketball in the 3-on-3 basketball, like the Ice Cube League, whatever that one is that they have 3-on-3. Did you see the men's 3-on-3 team? You know who the captain of the team is for the 3-on-3 team for the Olympics? Jimmer Fredette. Jimmer Fredette is the captain. The rest of this team consists of Rick Barry's son, some guy named Kareem Maddox, and another guy named Dylan Travis, who played for NCAA Division II. You can't find a better 3-on-3 team to represent the United States than this one? How old is Jimmer Fredette? What is going on here? Oh, he's only 35. Jeez. Feels like he's 50 by now, doesn't it? 3-on-3. Who would have thought? Good news came out of basketball today, though. Really good news. I think the best sports show, period, I think, over the last decade has been Inside the NBA. It's must-watch TV. Whether you like the teams that are playing that night, the memes, the videos, the comedy, everything from Inside the NBA has been must-watch, my favorite thing there is in sports, not just basketball. Today, TNT has matched Amazon's offer to try to keep the NBA and keep Inside the NBA airing. We'll see how it comes from it. But, man, I know Charles Barkley already came out and said next year will be his last as an analyst. But not having an NBA season and Inside the NBA on TNT is just blasphemy. It's blasphemy. It's great. It's fantastic. It's funny. It's fun. It's light. They're not so serious about everything like all these other shows that are on there. And it would just be sad to see Inside the NBA go. So good for TNT for stepping up and say, hey, the show is beloved. Everyone loves it. We like having the NBA. Obviously, Amazon's making this push to have all the sports on their program. If you saw the Amazon games in the NFL last season on Thursday, they're absolutely trash. They're behind. They constantly chopping in and out. Sometimes I was watching and the voice was off of the person talking, or the play caller was off. He's already gotten the first down before he even said they have a first down. This didn't happen on YouTube TV. It was only on Amazon. This didn't happen on anything else. On Peacock, this doesn't happen. The Amazon NFL thing last year was terrible. I don't want to watch NBA on Amazon. I don't. I want to watch Inside the NBA on TNT. So hopefully it gets worked out and TNT holds it strong and says, hey, here we go. What's up with this? We're keeping it. We're saved. Speaking of saved, some really, really good news came out today. We're talking college football. Wisconsin fans, it is time to celebrate because at Camp Randall Stadium in Wisconsin today, great news. you can now drink alcohol again in the stadium. Yes! Yes, Wisconsin fans, it's time to celebrate. Now, why is this funny? Well, last year in 2023, Madison, Wisconsin was voted the drunkest city. And now they can not only drink at tailgating, but they can drink at Camp Randall Stadium as well. Just as the Big Ten expanded, and they're probably going to get their ass whooped by a lot of better teams who just joined, good. They could drink it away and have fun doing it. I thought that was fun. Shout out to Wisconsin. Why not? Wisconsin. I've never been to Wisconsin. Anything good happen in Wisconsin? You should ask Heavy T. I bet he would know. On the show, obviously, we do a lot of stuff with logos and jerseys and logo changes, and we rate them. You know, obviously, the City Connect jerseys in Major League. We gave the wonderful Denver Broncos jerseys an A+. Oh, wait. That was an F-. My bad. I forgot. Heavy T will join us next to talk... what say ye, Heavy T? But first, the best logo change I've ever seen. But first, this.
Changed the logo, the football logo, and this is the old one, and I just want to say I am very happy with the change. The graphic design of this is insane. Yes, they need a pay rise, bro, because look at the design now. Bro, there is now 4 new changes on the Feyenoord Football Club logo. Wow. It's amazing. The change is beautiful. The new 4 changes I could visibly see. Honestly, the graphic designer deserves a big praise.
My goodness. Heavy T. Wow. I'm shocked. What a logo.
Bigger.
What a branding change.
Literally looks a little bit bigger, and that's the only difference I see with it. I saw that earlier, and I was just like, "What am I looking at?"
So they're gonna have to change all their T-shirts, all their hats, everything they sell to that from that
with a slightly bigger logo.
Okay,
but I guess this is good on the consumer because, as a normal fan like me, I can look at it as like, well, the logo's just an inch smaller, and it's $30 off. So yeah, I'll just get it. Look, that's good for me, man. I'll take it.
Oh, that's the worst branding change ever. And what's funny, if you go to like their like social media, like before it came out, they made like a hype video. They made like all this stuff about new changes coming and all this, and that was the release. That was the big release there. No pun intended. Everybody, Tyler Heavy T Soto live from the FanDuel Studios in Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the Dog Days of Sports Summer.
Yeah, man, it's barren right now.
We got the Summer League final is on right now.
Nobody cares about that. Nobody's watching that, dude.
Memphis is up 85 over Miami 7.
Zach, yeah, again. No, God, no, I'm not watching for any of that. But I did see something. It is not necessarily a spoiler for Monday Night Raw tonight. Well, I will say that I do want to bring this up because there is a match that was announced for SummerSlam on Raw tonight.
Did I already guess it?
Well, it's one that everyone knew was very obvious.
Okay.
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. That's officially announced.
And not a three-way with Seth Rollins.
So Punk is officially cleared, he announced on Raw, which is great for him. So it is not a three-way with Seth Rollins.
Interesting.
However, Seth Rollins is the special guest referee for this match, which I think adds – we will talk about this more on Born to Heel, but I think that adds a lovely little wrinkle to how this is going to go. Now, I am actually not 100% sure who wins this. I'm really not.
What? Seth Rollins the referee? What? Get out of here! Obviously, he's gonna be a huge part of the outcome.
But who's yes, obviously, but who's he going to screw over? Punk, who he's had problems with this whole time, or Drew, who took his title? Like, who are we screwing over here?
Well,
That's
I
gonna
will
be
tell you my answer to that right now. Here's how this is going to play out.
Oh, jeez.
All right, here's how this is going to play out. You know what? No. Ladies and gentlemen, go to MondayNightRants.com. This week's Born to Heal. I'll give my answer.
That's what we in the business call a tease.
That's a teaser, baby. That is a tease. I'm not in a towel. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Born to Heal, MondayNightRants.com on Spotify. We'll do that this week, and we'll talk about that and more before a week and a half away from the big SummerSlam.
Not even a week and a half away. I believe it's this upcoming Saturday.
No, it's on the 3rd.
Or is it maybe not?
Yeah.
Oh, well, this Twitter page lied to me that
Get your dates together.
My bad. My dates are all mixed up.
You know what does start this weekend, though, is the Olympics. And we're having a big Olympic show next Monday.
Yes. Also, that is worth noting. I did see that Monday Night Raw is being moved to Sci-Fi for the next 2 weeks because of Olympic coverage.
Yeah, and there's also no NASCAR for 2 weeks, and no anything really.
I mean, look, if we're talking Olympics, I don't think Team USA wins gold for basketball. They look.
I was just talking about that. That was part of my rant line. Were you watching our own show?
I was not.
Hey, just say yes. Just say yes. Jeez.
Well, just in case the bosses at FanDuel are watching. No, I was not watching the show.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah. I know they're all big fans of my rants. So
there you go. But yeah, no, I mean, you beat South Sudan by 1 point,
and
then you barely beat Germany. They're not going to win. They're not going to win. There's no chemistry.
There's no
chemistry on this team.
Yeah,
it's LeBron and the boys. That's it.
It's not the dream team we remember from the 90s. That's for sure.
No, like that team practiced hardcore practices. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the clips of it, but those things were intense, dude. Like everybody's just, everybody's killing each other out there. There was a sense of like, we're going to go destroy the world. That's not here, dude. It's just not. Like,
it's not. And basketball is becoming more global, and teams are getting better in other countries. Slovakia is going to be good. Canada is good.
Germany's decent. Germany's actually pretty good. Yeah. France is usually pretty good. Argentina's not usually bad.
Spain.
Australia's not usually bad either. Spain's really, really good.
They're getting better and better. And it's just it's gold or bust for the United States men's team. Women's, I think they have it in the bag. I don't think anyone's going to touch them.
Didn't the Team USA women's lose to the WNBA All-Stars?
Okay. They're not playing.
Not
playing the WNBA All Stars.
I'm just saying it doesn't look great. I'm just saying
they're going to be fine. They're going to win every game. It sucks that Caitlin Clark's not there, but they're going to win. They'll be fine. The men's team, though, I am worried about. I do have a question.
I don't think the men's wins at all. I think they finished at best maybe third.
Yep, I said they're going to lose some games. Hopefully, it's in round robin. We'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Shoot.
What sport in the Olympics, and we'll talk about this next week more, but what sport in the Olympics are you most looking forward to seeing? Like, what is your favorite one that you just can't wait to just watch and sit down with a bucket of popcorn and a giant beer and say, I'm watching this today?
That's actually a really good question. I've always thought swimming was really compelling.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Olympic sports, just I don't know. There's just something about it. I mean, Michael Phelps helped that a lot.
Yeah.
For the past 20-ish years or whatever. But no, swimming was always really good. I don't watch basketball that much. I
really don't watch the basketball games till they matter.
Yeah, I don't.
There's so much going on. It's like I'm not going to watch a round robin game between.
Yeah. I'll catch the soccer maybe a little bit. I don't watch. What was the other one? I don't watch the baseball that much either.
You're gonna catch flag football? You gonna watch some flag football this year?
Is that this year? I thought it was 2028.
It's on the list right now.
Oh, okay. Well then, I guess I'll watch that just to see what's up. So there's. I'll probably watch a little bit of that.
Oh, maybe it is next time. Why is it on the list here?
I think they have rugby this year, which I'll watch that. That'd be kind of cool.
I think it's rugby sevens, right? So which is
Yeah.
better, which is actually more fun to watch. And we'll talk with Elliot about this next week because he was actually a rugby player. He's really into rugby.
Oh.
So he'll be able to break it down for us a little bit.
Yeah, a couple other things that I've always found really good. I always thought beach volleyball was really, really good.
Yeah, it's fun. The 2-on-2,
the indoor volleyball is intense.
Yeah.
Like that thing is hardcore. And then not so much the handball, which I think they still play. But I do like water polo. Water polo is interesting.
Water polo is fun to watch.
Yeah, because those dudes, what you can't see under the water, those dudes play dirty. Like
they're kicking, they're scratching.
They're kicking, they're scratching, man. I'm sure their toenails are grown over by 2 inches or whatever. You're scratching for flesh, man. It's good. Personally, I've always really liked archery. I always thought archery was pretty cool.
I think that's going to be your answer for my next question. So we'll see.
So I'll watch that. But I think the thing I'm most excited about. So I don't know if I've ever told you this.
Oh boy,
my dad, biggest Olympic fan I know.
I'm a huge Olympic fan too. So.
No, trust me, he's bigger. And I say that because ever since this man had a job in like the 80s or whatever,
he takes the 2 weeks off. That's his vacation days.
He takes the 2 full weeks off.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. The last Olympics, which were 2021 because of the COVID stuff, so they moved it a year later.
Yeah.
So the last Olympics in 2021. This man, my mom sent me a picture because I was in Texas at the time. This man had his bedroom TV, his main desktop computer, his phone, his work computer, and my mom's laptop on different sports watching everything.
Have you told him about Peacock and the Gold Zone this year yet?
He's aware. He knows about all that. He's making sure that like the Peacock package we have is good to go.
He's ready to go. Okay.
Yeah, if he needs it, he'll pay it extra for like the 1 month just so he gets everything. I mean, so I'm going to be honest. This dude had knee surgery about 6 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure he timed his knee surgery at the beginning of June so he can have guaranteed Olympic time off. Because this man loves the Olympics. It's going to be one of my personal goals to try to get him to as many events as I can when they're here in LA. Because I think that'd be pretty fun. But yeah, no, this man loves the Olympics, dude. It's beautiful.
I like them. I just think it's fun. You get to see sports put on a pedestal that you don't normally see every year, like we do here on the show, and working in sports. Here, I love fencing.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's good.
Skateboarding, because I was a huge skateboarder when I was a kid. I like watching skateboarding now. They got the 2 skateboarding events, and I'm kind of a sucker for mountain biking as well. It's fun to watch. And last year we had that dude who was the favorite to win the whole mountain biking event eat shit on the jump.
I think I remember that. Yeah,
almost die, and the dude who won was like barely qualified for the finals. It was crazy.
You know what's another thing that I love now that I think about it? I'm gonna screw up the name, but it's the kayaking like obstacle course. Was it called like a slalom or something like that?
Oh yeah, the slalom. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So the kayaking slalom I've always thought was cool because I've always thought like whitewater rafting was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then another thing that gets really intense.
Table tennis.
I was literally just going to say
really?
Okay. It gets really intense.
Dude, those Chinese, man, they are nuts.
Dude, right?
It is crazy.
Yeah. Now, if I ask my dad, I know he loves track and field. So I know.
Oh, yeah. Everybody watches the track and field, the 100-meter. They got to watch all that. But that's not till week 2, which is always week 2 because it's swimming week 1 and all the track and field week 2. So yeah, I'm sport climbing too. I watched that in 2021. It's a new event. That's crazy.
Is that like super fast rock climbing?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember seeing that during the last Olympics, but I've seen clips of it. So that'd be kind of cool.
It's cool. All right, I think I know the answer to this, but if you could do any Olympic sport, which one would you do?
Ooh. I'd have to actually think about that for a second. I think automatically the thing that pops into my head is the kayaking slalom because that just
you would do that. I would figure you. I could see you being an archery man.
I could. My aim is horrendous. I could try though. But
I'm
yeah,
not saying you have to be good at it. Just like me, I would do.
okay.
I would do fencing. You tell me I get to sword fight and not actually get stabbed? Hell yeah!
I mean,
Hell yeah!
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I think the kayaking one, just because it's always looked like it's incredible fun. And while we're on that record, when it comes to the Winter Olympics, I've always wanted to do the bobsled. That looks so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Man.
Ever since
That
I saw
bobsled
Cool
looks so
Runnings.
fun.
Hey, we should start a bobsled team. Let's start a bobsled team. Why not?
Yeah, it's not gonna work for me. I think I'm too big for the thing, but for the sled. But yeah, no, man.
We put you in front. We put you in front.
Where all the weights, where all the weight is.
Yeah.
Not the worst idea, I guess.
We put Thomas in the back.
The light guy. Put him in the
back. Next week we'll talk about this more in full. We're gonna switch gears here to the MLB trade deadline because that's happening next Tuesday. So obviously Monday night we'll probably have some trades to talk about. Last year there was a trade that happened on our show, so that'll be cool if that happens again. But are there any names you feel will be traded? I actually have a list that I have here. I think are guaranteed to go. And is there going to be a surprise team that we'll be talking about next Monday that could wow, they sold?
Surprise team. If you didn't see the news, the Cubs owner basically said that they're probably going to be sellers.
That's so surprising to me. That's really surprising.
I believe the Reds have come out and said the same thing because they're on a bit of a losing streak.
The Reds, but they're 1 year away.
They're all but you could load up on some guys that are almost ready to play immediately in exchange for getting rid of some contracts that are gonna finish. So I think those are probably the two bigger surprises.
Are the Blue Jays gonna sell the farm?
I don't know if they necessarily sell the entire farm, but I think they're selling some key pieces.
I think Bo Bichette gets traded, guaranteed. I think
he's having a bad year.
Don't think they trade Vlad. I just don't think they could do that right now. It depends on what you get back for him. This could be a Soto situation from a couple years ago with the Padres and the Nationals.
I'll be honest, if Vlad is going somewhere, I've seen this team be connected to first baseman. If Vlad is going anywhere, he's going to Houston. I have seen that. I have also seen that apparently Houston has been in talks with the Mets about Pete Alonso.
Oh God,
which I think is
the Mets are in play right now. That's not. They're not.
So I mean, we'll see. I mean that could be another team that surprises is a surprise seller.
Because shout out to Yordan Alvarez who hit his cycle yesterday.
So yeah, hit the cycle. That home run he hit. Oh my God,
dude! Did you see Shohei Ohtani's home run?
I'm not even
left Dodger Stadium, dude.
I'm not even joking. So I'm watching that game with a coworker of mine when we're here at the studio. He hit it. And you just hear me say, Jesus Christ. Dude,
it was a
as I look at it, I'm like, oh my God.
I was actually playing college football 25. I was trying to take Oregon to a national championship with myself as the quarterback. And I had it on the tablet and I could, and all of a sudden I said, I went, whoa! Dodger Stadium's not easy to hit long home runs either. That was.
No, it's not. So I think what happened is it flew through the DISO sign.
Yeah,
something like that.
Over the outfield.
Yeah, over the outfield. So, and the funny thing is that in current Dodger Stadium, that's not technically out of the stadium because they did renovate it. So there's a whole concourse area right behind those outfield stands. Yeah. In old Dodger Stadium,
that would hit the parking.
Right behind those outfield stands was the parking lot.
Yeah, it would have been bounced into the parking lot.
Yeah, older. So I'm so jealous because I know there was a dude in line for nachos or something. He's like, "Oh, cool! I got a free ball." Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Ohtani's farthest home run he's ever hit so far.
One of the farthest home runs in Dodger Stadium, and I believe the second farthest is here in all of baseball.
But I think it is Ohtani's farthest.
It's the farthest, and in all of baseball, if we take Coors Field out of it, it's the farthest this year. Damn. I think the only other one was a couple feet farther in Coors Field, dead center. I think went 480 something. Damn. But so I think if you're gonna have one surprise selling team, it might be the Mets. So just do not be surprised about that. As far as names that I think are gonna go, I think I don't remember his first name, but Skubal. Or
Tyreek Skubal is a pitcher.
Yeah,
he just pitched today, actually.
He had another great outing. He's gone. Yeah. There's no way he's taking Detroit. He's gone. I've seen the Dodgers. Garrett Crochet is like number one on their list.
Yeah.
I've
The
seen
White
that.
Sox, there's a lot of interest. Lewis Robert, I think, is gone.
Yeah, I've seen that as well too. I think at least 3 Angels get moved.
Jack
I think
Flattery should be gone too.
Jack Flattery is probably going to move too.
Yeah.
For the Angels, I think
what Angels do you think are going to go?
I think Rengifo, Estevez, and Tyler Anderson are all gone. I think they're gone.
Yeah, dude, Estevez has been lights out as a closer lately.
You know, it's actually funny because he started the year and he was okay, and then there was about a month where he was awful. And
yeah, that's how he was last year.
Yeah, I think he switched up his mechanics a little bit, and he's been lights out ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Anderson's been having a really good year, and he has one more year of team control. And then Rengifo is going to be a great middle of the lineup bat for anybody.
Yeah, here I think are the biggest buyers. I think the Yankees make a big move. They seem to be one pitcher away. Like they need pitching. They need pitching. Bad.
I mean, yeah.
So they could go for Crochet too. They could go for Flattery. They're going to make some pitching move. I think the Padres are still going to make a move here. They're going to make a move for some pitching because all the pitchers are hurt right now. If the Padres starting pitching all came back and they make the playoffs, that they're really dangerous. They had the lowest strikeout rate in baseball. It's under 20%. They're the only team under 20%. They're not striking out. They're also not walking. They're putting the ball in play. If they get the pitching behind it, they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs if everyone's healthy. So, also Cleveland, the Guardians could be.
The Guardians are going to make a move. I think Houston and Seattle both end up making moves.
Yeah.
2 dudes, before I go, I will say this. 2 dudes that will definitely go in the deadline. I think one is obvious. I think the other one was going to be a bit of a surprise.
Okay.
The one that's obvious, Brent Rooker in Oakland is having a monster.
Monster.
He's really, really
monster
good.
Year.
So he's going to be a perfect 3-4 hitter for.
You think they get rid of Miller too in Oakland if the price is right?
It's possible. Yeah, I think the price would have to be right. But
would he have the fastest pitch in All-Star game history here the other night?
Yeah, he had the fastest pitch in All-Star game history, and I believe he has the 2nd fastest pitch in baseball this year.
Whew.
So there is that. Now the name that I think is going to be surprising, I think Jazz Chisholm gets moved.
I could see that. I think they're done with him, right? They have to be done with him.
It's not that they're done with him.
They moved him around. He's very streaky. I was high on him earlier, and now I'm just I'm done with him.
But it's not just that. Even if he does get hot, they're still going to lose because they are terrible. There is nobody on that team that is really good at anything. They're just bad.
Surprisingly, the only guy that's consistent is De La Cruz. He's just consistent.
Yeah.
He's not great. He's not bad. He's just consistent.
Yeah.
And he's the best player this year.
You should have known that the Marlins were going to be sellers this year. I mean, obviously they're going to be sellers, but they traded a rise in the first 2 weeks of the season or something.
They got a lot of arms that are interesting.
One of them the reliever. I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but they're going to be a good one. But that's who I got, man. So
I like it.
We'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as things actually happen, but we're just kind of previewing this year what we think could happen. Next week, we could be talking about it completely different. They also have, they could trade Edward Cabrera would be an interesting arm. They could trade, get some value for Trevor Rogers, Jesus Luzardo. They got some arms here. AJ Puck. So, but they're kind of a team in kind of disarray right now. And the Rays, they need to do something. They're not playing.
That's another team that's going to end up being sellers. I think they've already said that too.
Think so? Wow.
So I think that's another dude I think is gone. I think Rosarina is probably gone.
No.
Yeah, no, they've hinted that they're going to move on.
Lowe would be an interesting if someone could pick up Lowe right now as a second base or middle infield. He's always a good hitter. Terrible defensive.
This would be this guy right here, and this will be my last one because I do got to get back. This guy right here would be a very low risk, high reward. Because I don't think you'd have to give up that much to get him. If the Rays decided to part with Jose Siri, that dude can get.
Oh yeah. He's another guy who's very streaky, but when he streaks, he goes through the gymnasium and into the quad as fast as anyone.
I think the problem with him is that and I saw it firsthand in Houston. His antics will get under people's skin, like his own team's skin.
Yeah. And he dye his hair and do weird stuff and wears.
That's
weird
why he
earrings
hasn't really stuck around. He's kind of like
I saw him play here in
guess-
Fresno and AAA one year. That's crazy.
yeah. There's a reason why he was in AAA for so long. It's
Yeah.
because he's known as like not necessarily like I guess maybe like a bad boy, but he's like a very immature bad boy, if that's the easiest way to say it. Like it's, but like I said, low risk, high reward because you could probably give up hardly anything to get him, and if he doesn't work out, just get rid of him.
Another low risk, high reward that happened today that is very interesting, by the way. And maybe a change of scenery after this guy was just an all-star last year. Ty France got just straight paid by Seattle. If I'm the Padres right now, who only has one first baseman on the roster, Jake Cronenworth, who's been great this year, go get him right now because he can also
Ty France is a good option. Also, the Dodgers DFAing James Paxton.
Another one too. Yeah,
that one. Now
he was supposed to pitch tonight.
No, he pitched last night.
He pitched last night. He did pitch last night. Yeah, that's right.
Keep this in mind. His record is 8-2. He's a pretty good pitcher. A little deceiving because his ERA is over 4.
Yeah,
but he'd be a good back end of the rotation kind of guy. And he got DFA'd. You can basically get him for free. So
yeah, same with Ty France. If I'm a major league team, right. I'm picking him up before he goes to AAA tomorrow. Which we'll see. It's going to happen. Somebody is going to pick up Ty France tomorrow before he goes to AAA. Yeah, trust me. That dude has mechanics where he could be a 280 hitter. He's been on the All-Star team for Seattle. He was great in the Padres when they traded him. So there you go. All right, man. Tyler Heavy T Soto. Check out Born to Heal. It'll be out either Thursday night or Friday this week. We'll talk about what happened on Raw tonight, what's going to happen on SmackDown, and preview SummerSlam, some more. And you'll be back next week for our Olympic episode. More of what's going on in the Olympics, what's going to happen. And I'm going to get into the betting market here on the Olympics. So more on that next week as well. We're going to have some fun with that. I'll make a little game out of it.
Sounds good, man.
Enjoy your night, man. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you Thursday. Tyler Heavy T Soto. I have a promo I was supposed to do a long time ago. So I'm just going to do it now. Because, hey, we're in the dog days of sports summer, baby. Not much more to talk about anymore tonight, but I do have to tell you this. There's a baseball game to be played tonight between the Dodgers and the Giants, and I'm giving you a free prop pick right now. A free prop pick. Your last-minute prop pick. Get it in. You got about 20 minutes before the game starts. Your free prop pick for the Dodgers Giants tonight from me. It's going to be a winner as I've been on fire on these K-props, baby. I've been absolutely on fire on these K-props, so get it in. Brought to you by bestodds.com's Strikeout Pro. Sure to go over his strikeout total tonight. Using the Strikeout Pro from bestodds.com, I found some data that told me that Blake Snell would struggle throwing Ks tonight against the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers are in the middle of the pack when it comes to strikeouts per game this season, but against left-handed pitching, they shoot up to 4th in the league, striking out at only 20.75%. Snell's Achilles heel, which it's always been, walks, base runners leading to runs, and not pitching enough innings. And the Dodgers just happen to have the highest OPS against left-handed pitching this season at .793. Snell has only gone over 5 innings once in his last 5, telling me he's not going to stick around long enough to hit the over on the 6.5 strikeout mark. Take the under. Get all of this information to make your own picks using the Strikeout Pro at bestodds.com. Go to bestodds.com/strikeout and start your free trial with no credit card required today. No credit card required. bestodds.com/strikeout. Also, you know, I'm a big Nerfy guy. They rock the Nerfies too. Their Nerfy tool is the best, man. I use it. I've been crushing. It's bestodds.com/Nerfy. And they have all the stats just for the first inning for every team. So you don't have to do crazy, try to look it up online, try to find roster resource just first. It's just all right there in front of your face. The best data to win your Nerfy bets and also strikeout props. So check it out. bestodds.com/strike or Nerfy, or make it easy. Just go to bestodds.com/Edward and get your free trial. No credit card required. Try it for 7 days. If you don't like it, well, you will. Trust me, it's an awesome tool, and I started winning bets after more often when I started using it. So give it a try. Free. No credit card. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We got about 10 minutes left. Here's what I'm going to do. Dog days of sports summer. I'm going to give you fantasy football rankings from me. I'm going to run through what I think are going to be the top 10 quarterbacks when it's all said and done after this year in fantasy football. You could argue with me. You could agree with me. Put it in the chat. Sorry, I haven't been reading a lot of your chats tonight. It's been kind of a busy night. I see them. I see you in there. By the way, no matter where you're watching, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or what, all the other random platforms we're on, I see all the chats in one place. So this is the time for you to argue, rant with me, if you will, as we talk about this. So we're going to go over fantasy football quarterbacks. And I'm going to give you who I think are going to be the top fantasy football quarterbacks when it's all said and done. Now, there is an asterisk here. Injuries. Injuries happen. I talk about it on the show all the time. And people like to come at me too. They like to slide into my DMs and say, "You are so wrong about this dude." Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, man. He missed half the season with an injury. If he did it, the 5 games he did play, he was number 3 in fantasy points per dropback. So eat it. Okay? I don't want to hear about injuries. Let's assume everyone's healthy right now. Joe Burrow's back. He may be on this list. Last year, Josh Allen was the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. He's been the number 1 quarterback in fantasy 2 of the last 4 years. The other 2 years, he was QB3 and QB2. There's no way I'm leaving him off this list and not my number 1. The receiving core has a lot to be desired this year in Buffalo. Obviously, trading Stephon Diggs was crazy. I'm not a big believer in Keon Coleman. I may eat crow. Keon Coleman reminds me of Kelvin Benjamin. Ugh. But with Josh Allen as your quarterback, and Kelvin Benjamin had some couple of good years before his laziness and his off-the-field antics kind of forced him out of the NFL. But Cam Newton and Josh Allen are kind of similar quarterbacks too. So Curtis Samuel's a very interesting addition in Buffalo too. But Josh Allen is going to rush a lot this year. He's going to get a lot of rushing touchdowns. He's going to get a lot of rushing yards. Because when you have the lack of receiving depth that they do, now they have Dalton Kincaid, who's arguably a receiver playing at the tight end position. I expect really big things from him. When I do my tight end rankings, he will be high up them. By the way, tight ends are no longer a thing that you can just punt on because tight end position is stronger than it's ever been right now in fantasy. I think Josh Allen, per capita, per drop back, fantasy points is number 1. And yeah, and the only reason he's number 1 over this next guy, I'll explain. Excuse me. Jalen Hurts is my number 2. Now, Jalen Hurts is obviously going to get his rush yards. Rushing touchdowns has been really big for him. I would have him over Josh Allen this year with Josh Allen losing his receiving core pretty much. However, Jalen Hurts lost his center, and I don't think the tush push, which gave him a lot of fantasy points and touchdowns, is going to be as effective this year. We've seen other teams try to do it without a man named Kelsey at center, fail miserably. So I'm going to take some rushing touchdowns out the window for Jalen Hurts this year, especially with Saquon Barkley added. And that's why I drop Jalen Hurts down to number 2 behind Josh Allen. Then I have Patrick Mahomes. I know he had an off year last year, but you bring in Hollywood Brown. You nailed the Xavier Worthy pick in the draft. I don't care what's going on with what's-his-face who was drinking and driving on the freeway and almost killed somebody. He's whatever. He doesn't matter anymore. You got Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and you got Kelsey coming back, Rashee Rice, who I'm talking about. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be better than he was last year. Small bar for him. And I think this Chiefs team is the top, the best in the AFC, the best in football. And when you have Andy Reid scheming and Patrick Mahomes, I'm not worried about it. I have him at number 3 over Lamar Jackson. I have Lamar Jackson at number 4. Obviously, the rushing yards are going to be there. We're going to have a better receiving core. Hopefully, Mark Andrews stays healthy. The reason why he's number 4 and not over Patrick Mahomes is the Derrick Henry effect. You don't go get Derrick Henry and not give him the ball. I think it's going to slow down this offense a little bit more than it was last year. I think it's going to cause a slower game, less opportunities for Lamar Jackson to throw the ball. Yeah, he's going to get his rushing opportunities, but I think throwing the ball is going to limit them. And Lamar Jackson won't quite do Patrick Mahomes with a revamped receiving core, better than it was last year. Who Patrick Mahomes, remember, is Patrick Mahomes. He could easily get 5 touchdown passes in one game. He could get to 50 next year. Lamar Jackson ain't throwing 50 touchdown passes. He ain't getting 35 total touchdowns between passing and rushing. So Lamar Jackson's number 4. And this is kind of the drop-off. So everyone's like, well, duh, Edward, those are clearly the best 4. So who's going to be at my number 5? It's a very interesting. Could it be Joe Burrow? Dak Prescott? Spoiler, it's not. Kyler Murray? Anthony Richardson? Interesting with Anthony Richardson is he's injury prone already. But the games he played last year, Anthony Richardson actually had a better fantasy point per drop back than Josh Allen did, who was QB1. So if he continues that, and obviously you got Jonathan Taylor, you got Pittman, you got good receivers there, but Anthony Richardson could have a good year, but I'm not ready to put him at 5 yet because the sample size is too small in the NFL. And the injury thing, I mean, he how many did he play? 3 games? The 4 games he left 2 of them with an injury? 3 of them with it is I'm not doing that. CJ Stroud's my number 5. CJ Stroud. You look at the weapons he has, adding Joe Mixon, who can catch the ball to the backfield, takes the pressure off him. He's not going to get a lot with his legs. But man, the weapons he has, the team he has, the revamp of the offensive line, the revamp of the team. I think CJ Stroud has a top five fantasy season next year at the top of the list of quarterbacks. And he's not going there. He's not going in the top 5 when it comes to ADP. You got Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson, Lamar Jackson. People are really high on Jaden Daniels. They're drafting Jaden Daniels way too high. Now, I may be wrong about it, but when it comes to rookie quarterbacks and their ADP is a top 10, nah. I want to see something first, and maybe I miss. Maybe he does become RG3. Maybe he does, but I missed. But I'm more than happy instead of Jaden Daniels to take, I don't know, Jordan Love, who's I've seen, Justin Herbert over Jaden Daniels. And Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams, it's going to be a tough one for me. Because out of the pocket, Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams in college made some mistakes. Out of the pocket, their IQ went down in a way. So it'll be interesting how they move to the NFL level. I have a little bit more confidence in Jaden Daniels than Caleb Williams. A little bit just because he does have some legs. I'm talking fantasy here, guys. I'm not talking normal. Like, if I think the Bears are going to be better than the Commanders. I think the Bears will be better than the Commanders. And after that, after my 5, with CJ Stroud, I think Kyler Murray has a big year. Marvin Harrison Jr. is it, man. Marvin Harrison Jr. is literally DeAndre Hopkins. He's Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. He's an immediate number 1 that Kyler didn't have last year. And by the way, when Kyler came back from injury last year, he was one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in the league all the way through. He almost carried me to a championship because I held on him. It sucked they had Jordan Love too. But hey, it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So I like Kyler Murray this year a lot. And by the way, don't sleep on the Arizona Cardinals team in general. I think they're going to be a little bit better than people think. Last year, they were supposed to be the laughingstock of the NFL, and they beat the Cowboys. And they were playing tough into games. This young, scrappy Arizona Cardinals team could be an upset team. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but they could beat some teams that should make the playoffs and maybe could cost them a playoff spot. Their offense should be pretty good, and I'm kind of excited about it. And I'm excited about a lot of the players on the Arizona Cardinals offense that no one's drafting that you could draft as well. Like Greg Dortch. Late. Kyler Murray should have a good year. I'm not high on Dak Prescott. I think Joe Burrow, I'll give him, he's going to be fine. He has obviously the weapons around him, but give him a week or two to kind of ease back in. But he's still in my top 10. And the last person in my top 10, which I think will make a difference here from quarterbacks. A lot of people will be like, what the hell? What? It's not Justin Herbert. I'm going with Jared Goff. Jared Goff is not being drafted high enough. This Detroit Lions offense is going to be absolutely crazy. Laporta could be tight end number 1. Amon St. Brown. Williams now has another year healthy, or not suspended. They're going to make schemes for him. Jared Goff could be a top 10 quarterback when this is all said and done. Another year in Detroit with this offense around him, good offensive line. The only thing that kind of scares me is if the defense plays better, because the only reason why Jared Goff was so good last year is because their defense, their secondary was so bad that he constantly had to throw the ball a lot late in games. Even though Montgomery, who has his injury prone as well, Jahmyr Gibbs, by the way, when I do my running backs, he's going way too high for me, and I'll explain why. But Jared Goff, I think he's my number 10 right now. And this could all change before the season starts in a month or so. But don't sleep on Jared Goff and where he's going in drafts, ADP, and Deshaun Watson is going ahead of Jared Goff. You're high. From myself and the Better Sports Network at Better Sports and all your at Better Network and all your favorite social media platforms. I am Edward Rouse. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Dog Days of Sports Summer. The Olympics are here, baby. The Olympics are here, and I couldn't be more excited. Love the Olympics. I'm like Heavy T's dad. That sounded weird. Just because he loves the Olympics, and so do I. From myself, from Heavy T, from everyone here at Monday Night Rants, make sure you catch Board in the Heel if you're a wrestling fan this week. And next Monday, we'll be back with the Olympic episode and a live MLB trade deadline. And my guest next week, of course, will be Elliot Cams, a.k.a. Elliot Jimmy Jams from New Rock 104.1's The Drew Show. You can catch that on the New Rock 104.1 app, which I am on also on Fridays. We have a lot of fun. And if you don't live here locally in California, well, that's why there's an app. You can listen to it wherever. Also go on SoundCloud. Also go on Spotify. You can listen to it wherever you are. You can listen to me, listen to Elliot and Drew and Jess and everybody. I talk sports on Fridays. Elliot will be here on Monday talking sports with me as well. We'll see you next week, my fellow ranters. Enjoy your dog days of summer week. And remember, as always, a big shout out to our boy here on the show. I hope you're listening. I hope you come on soon. I'm going to hunt you down and find you at the Chase branch you work on. Work at. Shout out to our boy, Taj McGowan. We'll see